All right, let's now get you some breaking news that's coming where the American President Donald Trump has issued yet another fresh warning to Iran. A report by the New York Post says that Trump has warned that Iran of fresh strikes if the talks were to fail in Pakistan. The report quotes Trump saying that we have a reset going. We are loading up the ships with the best ammunitions, the best weapons ever made, even better than what we did previously, and we blew them apart. The Trump went on to state that the United States will be using these ammunition very effectively. In a brief and a very cryptic message on his Truth Social network earlier, Trump had spoken the world's most powerful reset. The two sides are set to hold talks in Islamabad on Saturday. And WION's correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us over the phone line. Susan, what are we to read into that comment by the American president where he says the world's most powerful reset just before the negotiations?
Yeah, Mohammed, it's interesting. Right after, just minutes after J.D. Vance took off to Islamabad, we heard from Iran's parliament speaker, Ali Baf, who is allegedly one of the negotiators who's going to head to Islamabad, say that two conditions must be met before negotiations begin. He says those two conditions are ceasefire in Lebanon and a new one, suddenly saying the release of Iran's blocked assets must be fulfilled before negotiations even begin. And then we hear, this reporting from the New York Post by President Donald Trump, really saying that, we're giving this a chance, but our military is locked and loaded should things go south. So it really just shows how much daylight there is between the two sides as they presumably head to Islamabad. And a lot of questions left unanswered, really, not just what Donald Trump said, which was expected, but also, in what format these negotiations possibly will even take place tomorrow.
I think that is an important bit of information there, whether these negotiations can in fact even take place, considering the couple of new conditions that the Iranians have, of course, put there, and also Donald Trump's comment that this is going to be a great reset. It now remains to be seen as to how things, of course, proceed from here, where, remember, there are plenty of things that could in fact happen, and it now also needs to be looked at as to which way these negotiations can in fact proceed from here. And also, Susan, one of the other aspects that is being looked at is the way in which, the allegations of perhaps, people making money by investing in stocks just before Donald Trump makes these big statements, effectively referring to insider trading and having insider information. How is the American administration looking at these allegations that are surfacing over the course of this war, where just before Donald Trump makes some big announcements, there are some big trades that are made, money changes hands, and people appear to have made money? Has the Trump administration responded at all to these allegations of insider information resulting in insider trading?
Right. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because the White House just yesterday, I saw, has warned all staff, low level, high level, anyone that's working for the administration in any capacity, to not go on these betting sites and bet not only on this conflict, but also anything pertaining U.S. international policy or how the United States is conducting its operations abroad. So it's very aware of these allegations and how soon and how quickly this could get out of hand and spark a congressional investigation. And that itself would be a huge conspiracy for the White House, a big headache that it doesn't want to deal with. So it's trying to get ahead of this and warning that anyone in the administration or related to it should not be going on these betting sites.
Interesting. And one quick comment, Susan, because this is something that Donald Trump has just put out on his Truth social account, where he says, and let me quote what he has said here. He says that the Iranians don't seem to realize that they have no cards other than a short-term extortion of the world by using the international waterways. The only reason they are alive today is to negotiate. President Donald J. Trump. This is Donald Trump also hardening his stance on the question about the control of the Strait of Hormuz. How seriously is the Trump administration looking at the fact that the Iranians now exercise effective control in the Strait of Hormuz and have no intention to give up the control that they exercise through the toll system that they've set up at Hormuz, and also the fact that Trump, off the cuff, has made remarks that probably the United States and Iran will jointly control the Strait of Hormuz. What is Donald Trump's intention here when he makes these statements?
Yeah, it's very concerning. And, we've talked about this, Mohammed, many times, that it's true that the United States may not be using the Strait of Hormuz for itself as much as people may realize, but it's important to note that what happens in the Strait of Hormuz and this battle for the Strait of Hormuz ultimately determines how Americans view it economically. It affects gas prices. There's the issue of fertilizers, and costs will go up for ordinary Americans if Iran continues to do that. And the Trump administration is very aware of this. But I think there has been also intelligence now. We have to get confirmation on this. Intelligence reporting that in the past 24 hours or so, Iran is starting to charge a toll or wanting to charge some kind of toll for ships to pass. Now, if this is confirmed, then this opens another Pandora's box. But we've said it time and again, ultimately, it is the missile program, it is the nuclear program, but this whole conflict will probably come down to the so-called battle for the Strait of Hormuz and the opening of that.
Indeed, that, of course, looks to be the way in which this conflict is headed. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with all those updates there.